Coming up next on The Jeff Crilley Show, you'll meet a man who served our country in the military for 25 years, retired, and now he's making a name for himself in the construction industry. His story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is The Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I never served in the military, but I have so much respect for the hardworking men and women who did. And to have an entire career, 25 years, that's a lifetime. And that describes my next guest, Burt Vergez. He is a retired colonel, and he's now with P3 Builds. Thanks for coming on the show.
You bet, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for your service, 25 years. Why don't you describe your military service?
Sure. It was the love of my life. I missed working with soldiers now that I've retired. Service is always something that I believe that, something that I think that we all need to follow. My father served in the military, my grandfather served in the military, and I just have fond, great memories. There were some times that we were out there doing the bidding of our country in some places that weren't the best, but overall, my experience, I couch it as just amazing.
Well, you sent us a lot of pictures. We're going to put some up on the screen, and I want you to just kind of narrate as you see the pictures come up. Describe what we're looking at.
Sure, that's my command photo shortly after I was promoted to full Burt Colonel. And this is before I took command. I was flying actively in 2005 from bases in Iraq with my team. This is before I went on a mission. We were doing some route reconnaissance, and I didn't like taking too many photos. A lot of our missions were classified, but this is one before I closed the door. And actually, I took that at the behest of my wife, who says, "You don't send me any pictures." And I told her, "You can't see those." So this is one of those that I took before a mission.
Sure.
This is in Afghanistan. This is right around 2009, 2010. Outside of Kabul, getting ready to jump on a convoy, and this is the route commander, fellow lieutenant colonel at the time.
Sure.
This is with a good friend. This is FOB, Forward Operating Base Diamondback, with my friend Kelvin Robinson. We just come back from northern Iraq and Kurdistan, and we were just cutting up, and someone decided to take a photo of us doing that. This is same photo of that mission, route recon. With this is the man to my right. His name's Jimmy Robinson, one of the greatest aviators I ever flew with. At that point, he had 35 years of flying, Vietnam veteran. Wow. And I had the pleasure of flying most of my missions with him and that Apache. And this is me saying goodbye to Afghanistan. Last photo taken, I saw that it was a nice sunset, and I said, "Yeah, I'll take this one for the wife." So I did, and that was my last time on Afghanistan soil. I was in flight school. This is my oldest daughter, Elise. She was just a year and a half, and I took a picture of her in my flight helmet while I was in flight school.
And how old is she now?
She is 36. That was a long time ago.
A long time ago. No, I love it. Let's talk about the discipline that is required for you to climb your way up to the ranks of colonel.
Sure.
I mean, you had to be punctual, disciplined. I mean, you just think about all of the skills that it takes to be successful in any industry, and you learn them in the military.
I think the military, it not only imbues that in you, but it also gives you a sense of purpose. So discipline's important. I think your soldiers, especially where you are in positions of authority or leadership, that they look upon you to have that discipline to make tough decisions.
Sure.
And follow the orders and follow the the requirements that are set forward by your superiors. So yes, it's a great place for that.
And if you think about the pressures that you felt in the military compared to the pressures you feel today, obviously there's pressures in construction, but it's not the same as being at war.
Clearly not. War is a different dimension, and many folks are tested and found either worthy or not worthy. But I think, dealing with people, the pressures of leadership, I think there's some commonality that you can draw there.
Okay, so you come back, and then Tony Vincent, a friend of yours for a while.
I met Tony in Iraq in 2005 through a common friend, mess hall. He had the charge of supporting our troops throughout northern Iraq at the time through a contract vehicle, and then I had a separate type of vehicle, and we know that there were some gaps that needed to be filled, and we worked together and found that we can support troops by working together, and that began a long journey of friendship, and we remained friends until the day I decided I was going to join him in his company at P3.
And he has a very successful construction company, so does he just call you out of the blue and say, hey, what are you up to?
Well, we maintained the relationship, and I was working in Fort Worth back in 2016, and we were just talking, over dinner, and I was complaining about the commute from Fort Worth that many of us in the Metroplex know between Fort Worth and going into Dallas. He says, why don't you just leave all that and work with me? And that was an easy decision, so I joined my friend and his company.
I love it. We're going to pull up the website for P3, and I want you to describe the kinds of projects that you work on.
Well, Jeff, we do pretty much all manner of commercial construction, from the smallest remodel or service where you need a plumber to help you out with a plumbing requirement, all the way to a design build, what we call design build, which is you design something based on a requirement, whether it be a garage or a full-blown commercial building, to a build to print, which is architect gives you a set of drawings and you build it to those specifications. We do all of that and much more in between.
And you were telling me right before the show that one of your happiest client experiences has been with Encore, which is a huge company.
Encore Electric is a very big company, great people to work with. They have a great culture there, and we've been working with Encore now close to 20 years. And they called us and said, hey, we have an urgent requirement to build an expanded control center. And as you know, here in the Metroplex, the weather could be a problem. And so we had a very tight window to try and get this capability on the ground for them. And we did so not only within cost, but with a couple of weeks to spare.
Wow. One of your hallmarks as a company is customer service. Why don't you talk about that and how your industry typically communicates with their clients versus the way you guys do at P3?
Sure. Communication is everything, whether you're in the military or you're working in the construction or food service industry. It's all about communication. It's also about client relationships. And so in construction, I think what makes us different is that we believe that it's important that we definitely view the client as the number one, the entity and the number one focus for our model. Construction folks, you want to get in and out because time is labor, labor's time, and you want to just get to the next job. Whereas we really want to listen to the client. We listen and we work with the client and we build that relationship that in many cases with some of our clients are very long lasting. So it's all about relationship building for P3. I think that's what makes us different.
And I think that's so important, even in my industry. Just, if you're not talking to the client all the time, they make up stories in their own mind on, what's being done. So like if they went out to the construction site 2 days in a row and there was nothing happening, you can make up a false narrative, can't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that false narrative along with, it kind of falls in what you talked about earlier, the discipline. You have the discipline to follow your process. You have the discipline to follow the requirements laid out by your client. And then things happen. It's how you communicate with the client and then respect and listen to the client. I think that's really important.
Okay, we're almost out of time. So, Bert, final thoughts. If there's somebody who has a project that they're about to launch, why should they contact you guys?
I think they should contact us if they have a need that they've had difficulty fulfilling, if they have something unique that requires someone to listen and understand, and maybe they don't know what they want and they need somebody to kind of help them walk through that process. I think P3 is the company for you.
Outstanding. We're going to leave you with the website, which is p3builds.com. The great retired Colonel Burt Vergez. Thanks for coming on the show.
Jeff, I appreciate you having me.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.